I swear. I think it went live again. Oh my gosh. Alright. Well, let's see if this works. If not, let me know. I will obviously be a little bit more flustered than usual. I believe there's no picture, is what we're working with right now. Working now, no lag, all good. Oh my gosh, thank you guys for the patience and understanding. That obviously was not what was supposed to happen. Can we talk about how the way you go live on YouTube is extremely non-intuitive, and I'm pretty sure they changed the way it works, which is another reason why I'm a little bit confused. What's up, Maddie? There's picture and all seems good right now. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it used to be. Oh, hey, B, awesome to see you. Yeah, it used to be where I would hit start stream over in OBS, and then when I was ready, I would hit go live on YouTube. But this time I hit start streaming here, and then it was like, and yeah, just started going before I had typed anything in. Before I don't know. Regardless, good to see you guys. I miss you guys. There have been less videos out in the last couple weeks because this, for a variety of reasons. So I've missed connecting with you guys, hanging out. There's a video I released yesterday about how to pick out patterns in our, how to dig up some new, how to uncover some new patterns in our personality, figure out what we're good at, how we like seeing things, some of our preferences that are a little bit hidden. It's a fun one. It's a fun one, and it was nice getting to sort of deep dive on YouTube again. Let me see. Let me get a couple things situated for a second. Yeah, how are you guys doing? What are you guys up to this weekend? I prepared a little thing about a mindset shift that I've found helpful and relevant the past couple weeks. Let's see if this screen shows up or if it doesn't. Okay, it looks like it shows up, but my oh, it's just very big. Apologies. I will adjust that and fix that. What's going on? Sorry, this is not how I intended everything to go. But yeah, in the beginning, we can talk about a mindset shift I've found very, very helpful to sidestep some of our negative loops and wormhole thinking about, are we good enough? Are we working hard enough? Not working hard enough? That sort of stuff. I think it will be helpful, and this past 2 weeks or so, as I've been doing a lot of other things that are not related to uploading videos, it's been on my mind a lot. How I think if it were a couple years ago, if I missed an upload date or was busy doing something else, I would have gotten really in my head, overthinking, what's going on, feeling bad about myself. But now, after some practice, those things don't really get me down as much, and I wanted to share it with you guys as soon as I can get it situated and not freaking out. Paula, awesome to see you here. Ignitenment. I remember your name through Instagram, but no one should ever worry about tech issues. It makes me connect to the creator more because they are human. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now a licensed realtor and sold my first house 2 days ago after passing the test. Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. Super, super, super cool. Cool. Well, let me. Where's the work? Hey, nice to see you live. Nice to see you live as well. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. If you guys have any questions about YouTube, YouTube channel, YouTube niche, YouTube productivity, personality, how to figure out your best personality fit, I love discussing those things. Or anything, anything YouTube related, who you're watching, who you connect with really strongly on YouTube, why, who you're learning from. I love talking about that all the time, all day long. Let me adjust this screen for a second. I don't know where my head went. One moment. Okay. Apologies again for the I don't even know what's going on. It's not like I didn't prepare. I actually did prepare. It's just things are going crazy right now. Let's see. I believe this is working. But yeah, what's on your mind, guys, right now, with your YouTube projects, your YouTube channel, your maybe lack of YouTube videos? What's been going on? As a non-English speaker, if I speak English, can I get an international audience without promoting my channel through ads? As a non-English speaker, if I speak English, can I get... Yeah, I mean, the YouTube's algorithm does, figure out a little bit about, you, but in general, it's not saying like, oh, we'll only show it to U.S. people. There's a lot of people. That's the coolest part about YouTube, is it sort of distributes you all over the place, especially if you find a topic or have a style that resonates and can get in front of people. I experimented with Miro a little some time ago. It's cool. Yes, it's very, very cool. Very, very awesome. I just don't even know what videos to make. Something with art, music, and mental health, but I have no clue. I also hate editing. I watch non-English speakers. Yes, I watch a lot of videos in Spanish. I find it really fun. And sometimes even videos where I don't even understand the language at all, just because I think they're interesting, they're cool. And it's sometimes cool to see people when they're switching between like their English way of expressing things and their native way of experiencing everything. It's actually from watching a bunch of international YouTubers or foreign language stuff where I realized that our normal environment is actually a lot more unique and special than we think. When I'm seeing some of my friends that I've met through YouTube and they're vlogging in Europe, and I'm looking and hearing all the sounds in their vlog and all the street signs and all the whatever, everything's in a different language. And for him, it's super normal. Like completely normal. He wouldn't bat a second. It doesn't feel like he's living in a cool, dynamic environment. But for me, not being in the same environment, everything is actually quite interesting. I'm like, oh, whoa, those are different sounds. That things look different. Being able to, I think we tune out how special our environment, our context is, and how we can make that more a character in our YouTube channel is something that's always on my mind. What places, what contexts, what things are we taking for granted, right? In our personality, in our surroundings, that we can sort of bring to life more on our YouTube channel. Something that I think about all the time. I'm running into issues of running out of time in the day. I'm still not comfortable with the camera, but I found writing a script helps tremendously. How do you manage your time to get more completed? I'm running. I think everyone has a different creative working style. And I made a video a while ago about how my process has changed a lot in how I like planning and communicating in my videos. Sometimes I do scripts. There was a phase when I was like intensely scripting my videos. Now I sort of like structure them in my head, and then I just sort of I have a very weird way of doing it right now that's been really good for me to get natural in front of the camera. I think let's see, what would be my, so first off, it's a big learning process getting comfortable talking in front of the camera. Like, I don't really, unless you have experience being on TV or something, I don't really understand I don't know any way around it just taking a lot of hours of trying. I was giving it my absolute best efforts for months and months and months, but if you look at what I was getting out, it was horrible. It was low volume, it was low energy, it was awkward, it was all these different things. So I think honestly you have to put a lot of time into practicing that. There's no real way around that. I think in terms of how to plan the videos to not take forever, let's see. Can you tell me a little bit more about what types of videos you like making? I've found that there's like this sort of like a spectrum where if you plan it out too much, the videos become harder to make, right? You're like, oh, I said that sentence wrong. I said it a little bit different from my script. So then you start refilming sentences that you don't even need to refilm. But at the same time, it is good to sometimes structure your ideas so that they're a little bit more like presentations. They have structure to them. They build. They're compelling. The stories, the anecdotes, where the message goes is like linear or focused. I think, I'm sorry, I'm not being super clear, but it's the problem I run into a lot with YouTube advice, which is basically you have to find your best fit for you, and doing that is going to take quite a bit of investment and troubleshooting. I will say that one of the ways that I get more completed is really figuring out what my blind spots are, what my personal weaknesses, insecurities, trouble spots are. So for me, it's like, oh, when I'm focusing a lot on this and this is slowing me down. Is this actually necessary? Is this actually important? So for instance, like, I'm spending all this time fixating on these sentences, or making sure I said things right, or that the light was right, or the topic was right, or the keywords were right, all this different stuff, and then you have to think, wait, is that actually important? Is that actually helpful? And so I noticed that I had these reoccurring things that were slowing me down all over the place, and it was actually because of my insecurities. Certain things where it's like, oh, I need to look better. This is my, I don't want there to be like a hair in my face because then I'll look dumb. Like, whatever it is, we all have these like very particular things that we overthink, that we obsess over, or that we're extra self-conscious of. And so with practice, instead of trying to just basically with practice, you figure out what your blind spots are, and you can get better at working around them. Oh, I don't need to overthink that so much. Or I was worrying so much about how I said something because I thought that all of these haters would come. I remember when I first started my YouTube videos, I used to put so many disclaimers in my videos because I was so afraid of offending people. And then I realized like no one was offended and nothing I was saying was offensive. So why was I spending like, hey guys, this is what I want to talk about today. Hey, by the way, here's like 1 minute of disclaimers that this is just my opinion and I don't, I'm still, whatever. It was silly. And so, yeah, I don't know. Basically, as with any sort of sport or process or craft, right? You have to. It takes a lot of investment. Striking a balance between consuming and creating content. Thoughts? Feels like I should consume way less. I mean, you have been making a lot of videos, Christian. I've been watching, keeping an eye on your channel, and so Christian did something where he was making a video every single week about sort of a personal development topic he was interested in. And then after a while, he was like, you know what my like preferred way of making stuff is? It's actually I'm like better at writing or expressing myself through writing than with videos. And so he started blogging every single day instead, but he did something I haven't seen before, which he then is live streaming every single day what he wrote on his blog while also expressing himself in different ways, and then he's also sometimes making a video every single week, and I find that extremely interesting. I think that's an amazing way to get out of that overthinking loop that we can get ourselves in the beginning. Honestly, in the beginning, especially, it's just showing up every single week is the most important part. Just creating consistently is the hardest part. The other stuff really doesn't matter. Because, yeah, most people give up in the beginning because of the consistency thing. So if you can just get that part down, that's a huge step. And I will agree that watching less YouTube, in terms of if you feel like it's making you overthink things or you're wasting time with it, huge time saver to watch less and create more. I remember in the beginning there was like a mental shift where I was watching a lot of YouTube all the time, like I normally would. There was nothing bad about that. But then I started being like, wait, why am I not making the things? Like when I make a video, I'm finding new friends, I'm learning new things about myself. Even if it's only, 50 people, 100 people watching the videos, my time is better spent over here. And that was really weird for me because it was like, wait, all these people I've spent years and years watching on YouTube, I can be one of those people? Oh, I need to get to work. Oh, shoot, like, this takes time. Oh my gosh, this is a lot harder than I thought, That's sort of, this is exactly my problem. I spend 99% of my time consuming videos and 1% actually creating them. I'm curious, for me, I've found that, like, figuring out your purpose with your YouTube channel is a huge help with getting the motivation to create content. I'm someone where, like, motivation is everything. If I'm not inspired to do it, I am a lazy fluff ball. Like, I don't do anything because I'm not feeling like it. That's like a reoccurring problem in my life, is like something seems really good or makes a lot of sense or is, maybe makes good money or is a good opportunity, but if I feel not motivated to do it, I'm not doing it. And then you see me in these other contexts where it's like, wait, I want to do YouTube. Wait, I want to do like something that at first makes no sense. wait, I want to be a videographer, not a doctor. Like these things where that don't really make sense or aren't really practical, but if I'm motivated to do it, if I know what I'm fighting for, suddenly I like transform into this super version of myself, and I'm like trying to hack my way to like make progress with it, learn, get better at it. And so I've found that paying close attention to this question of, am I doing something that inspires me? Do I know why I'm doing what I'm doing? Figuring out those purpose things is really everything. The reason I keep badgering the whole like figure out who you are, what you bring to the table, and how you can unleash that on your YouTube channel to unlock meaningful impact. All that figure out what's going on stuff is actually a lot more for the creator than for your audience. It's like especially at first, if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, because if the content makes sense and is good enough, the audience will come. But what I really feel strongly about or for are the creators who are very, very unique. They just don't know what they're doing. And so they find themselves in these cycles of uploading 2 videos. You don't upload for 8 months, upload 2 videos, don't upload for 6 months. Like that's very hard. And I'm not saying for the audience, I'm saying like for the creator themselves. It's very hard. And so if I can do any little thing to help you clarify your trajectory, your purpose, your focus with your YouTube channel, I really think that can make all the difference. I only watch you, Eric, for advice. You have the best advice anyway. YouTube psychologist for creators. Yeah, that's something that I've been noticing a lot with my YouTube content is the helpfulness. At least with the videos in their current state, a lot of it is a lot more for the creators, and the mindset, or actually just mindset in general, or how you can figure out yourself. It's actually not specific to growing your YouTube channel, like the tactics of it. Like I very much study that and know that and like that, but the part I always find my attention jumping to is like, wait, why isn't this happening? Wait, why aren't you connecting? Wait, why are you like this when I'm talking to you, but then on your YouTube channel you don't have that same energy, you don't have that same energy. How can we bridge this gap? What's stopping you? What's blocking you? How can we focus on that, not the algorithm, paycheck, tactics, search, keyword, that sort of stuff? It all starts with us, the creators. What our mindset is, if we know what we're doing, that makes all the difference. That's what attracted me to your channel, your analysis of the psychology of creators. There's going to be a lot more of that coming. I think it would be confusing if I went fully in depth mentioning it right now, but I think the breakdowns of my videos in the future, probably in a month or so, I want to look a lot more into breaking down their personalities. And I've been learning a lot about personalities and seeing how it's like, how do I put this? Basically, when you learn about different personality types, you realize that each personality type, each person, even if you don't really buy into the personality type thing, every person has some pretty unique superpowers, some really special ways of seeing the world, and that affects everything. I'm fascinated by creators where their content perfectly fits what their personality type is good at. Like, Vsauce or David Dobrik, Logan Paul, like whoever, each of these Graham Stephan, like all of these people make very different content and different content styles, but if you actually look at their personality, it's the perfect fit for them. So if I was able to go, hey, this creator, this is their personality type, this is what they are really, really good at, see how that has affected their content. If you are like them, maybe this is a way that you can be more yourself on YouTube. Maybe there's some different ways you can unleash your special way of seeing the world, making decisions in this world, expressing yourself on your YouTube channel. I think that that would be pretty fun. I think that would be very broadly entertaining, being like, these creators are using their personality superpowers on their YouTube channel. How can you unleash your own special personality superpowers? What's up, Robin? Good to see you here. I love Graham Stephan too. He's amazing. He's so different from me, but I just think his content is amazing. It's so like to the point, and I don't know how to not spoil it, but he's a fantastic example of someone where his personality lets him be really good at a very specific type of content. He's really good at figuring out the details. Where has he seen that information before? Referencing back to it. He gives you information like crazy, and then he just executes. He creates he's so consistent. Like he's like a workhorse, and that's. There's a lot more that goes into it, obviously, which is making my brain sort of short circuit because I can't explain it all right now. But he's able to make content that other people can't make, and I think that that's really, really cool. And I wanna analyze that type of stuff. I want to break that stuff down a lot more. Maddie, love that suggestion. I'll try scripting out my main videos and bullet point my quick shots for my selling superpower. It's a game of dopamine. You get more dopamine in watching videos, but you get very little dopamine from creating videos. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It depends what motivates you, which again, like, it always comes to those different things, but I found that, like, on the surface, yes, it's more fun to just watch hours and hours of YouTube. But I also noticed that once I was meeting new friends through YouTube, unlocking new impact from people like, oh, I'm in Europe, I'm in Australia, I'm in this, or like when I got comments from people where, this is like even in the early days of like, someone, when I talked about my dad, there was this guy who was like 60, 70 years old who had this like intense reflection about his dad when he saw my very simple video. And once I started realizing, wait, I thought my videos were just for fun. Like, I thought my videos were just for other young adults, and then seeing the impact that had, I found a humongous dopamine hit, like sense of fulfillment, I guess, from that went way beyond anything I could ever get from just watching YouTube. And so for me, the impact, the connection, and also the ability to learn more about myself, that ended up being a lot more gratifying or motivating for me to keep making content. I don't know, that part feels really good. There's no way around it. Like, it really feels good. And so I think, I don't know, creating more content, you get to see that more, and that's really, really awesome. Um, should rename your channel Creator Psychology. I'm always curious like how different people define my YouTube channel, because I have trouble boiling it down into a couple words. Some people really resonate with the personality side of it. Some people do the YouTube self-help, um, YouTube psychology. Like there's all these different ways, different things stand out to different people. I know this is kind of random, but I'm a teacher, and I use lessons from your videos about finding your personality to help my students find out what they're good at. Successful so far. Wow, that is super awesome. I would love to hear more about that. Yeah, a lot of my ways of trying to approach finding your right fit, I find it, how do I explain this? I was always frustrated in school because there was like the playbook of like how you explain things, and it's very predictable. And I always liked like going like, yeah, that's what the teacher said to do, but like this is what actually makes sense. You're gonna run into this problem. You're gonna like I liked personalizing it for my friends whenever I was helping them with stuff. And I would get extremely creative trying to help them actually figure out what was going on, what their blind spots were, rethinking things. And so it's really fun with YouTube that I get to have that one-on-one feeling where it's like, this is your personalized way of finding your best fit. And I can be super weird and creative and sort of wacky with the analogies or the teaching approaches and the styles, but it's actually at scale. It's not just one-on-one, which I think is really, really fun. And then with the content smoothie, that's a really interesting thing because it's a system, right? It's supposed to have some structure to it. It's not just completely different every single time, but there's a lot of customization in it, which is totally my thing. I love customization and personalization, because I think, again, I'm super biased. It's literally it's like in my personality to feel like this, but like I feel like when things get too systematized, when things go like, hey, if you do this, this is gonna happen. Like the more you go there, problems start happening, or like people start getting lost in the cracks. Does niching down really matter in the beginning? You mentioned that consistency is key starting out. Maybe just master this first, then niche down later. Yes, 100%. The biggest thing that kills a YouTube channel in the beginning, just being straight up, it's the creator themselves. It's the fact that they hold back their own YouTube channel because it's too hard to upload. Not enough people are watching. All sorts of different things, and usually people give up after a month or a couple months. So it doesn't really matter if you had a really amazing YouTube niche. If you don't have the muscle of being able to run or like keep up, show up every single week when it gets hard, when you're busy, when you're whatever, that muscle is the most important part in the beginning. And then as you go, as you create, you're gonna start accidentally running into things that show you, wait a second, I'm like really good at this, or I really like this. Why am I making videos about this when I'm more like this? You start running into those things a lot naturally the more you make content, and that will give you more clues about how to niche down. You'll also start getting a better idea of your audience, what they like, what they resonate with, and that will give you a better idea of like what to niche down to a little bit. I actually don't think you should niche down just for your audience, but the better way to say it is, the more you create content, the more you have an awareness of your audience, that you need to make sense to them, that you need to be more focused for them, so that your friends actually aren't confused when you talk about your YouTube channel. And so you start building a little bit more of that awareness or empathy, and that really helps with the niching down process. I know it's not fun to hear, but in the beginning, your YouTube channel is a lot more about you figuring out who you are, not growing an audience. And it usually takes at least a year, maybe even more, to start getting some legs or progress with like the niche or the focus of it. You need to, Dad here, you need to show up with at least 100 videos on a consistent basis. I agree. And I remember when I heard the 100 videos thing, I think it honestly like took me a year and a half or almost 2 years to get to 100 videos. So when I heard that number, I remember I had made videos consistently for about 6-7 months, and I was like, 100 videos? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I've worked so hard on my videos, but I'm only on like 25, 32, whatever. But you have to basically put in a bunch of reps before you start making some major breakthroughs with your experience in your YouTube channel. I would say a lot of the major breakthroughs for me came probably around the like 25 to 30 video mark, and then a lot more later around the 70 mark. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Yeah, hit that like button if you haven't yet already. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. We can get to... I'm enjoying the discussion right now, but we can also go into the sidestepping thing in a little bit if you are interested. I think it takes 100 videos before you know yourself and how to relate to your viewers. I really like how you put that about it's not make 100 videos and you'll grow on YouTube. It's not that at all. It's really not that at all. It's make 100 videos and you'll start figuring out who you actually are and how to relate to your viewers. And again, it's not the like fun answer to hear when you're starting your YouTube channel. I already know who I am. What are you talking about? What keywords do I need to type in to grow my YouTube channel? There's always a lot more to learn about yourself, and it always takes a lot more time than you think, a lot more stepping outside your comfort zone than you think to start figuring that out. Mason, what's up, Eric? I watched a bunch of your videos leading up to starting my YouTube channel. I wanted to say thanks. Your videos were inspiring. Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that. That's very, very special to me. 400 actual. I have 600 vids, but 400. Wow, that's a lot. That's crazy. Took me a year to create 5 videos, but I managed to reach 5K subs. I need to increase the frequency. Yes, I relate to that very strongly. What's up? I'm driving to Charlotte. You can keep me company. I'm down. Thanks for hanging out here. I appreciate it. I'm going to put this over here so I'm not looking to the side as much. Apologies. I should have done that. I should have done that before. 1 second. My problem is the type of video I want to make are very time consuming, so I've been doing easier videos just to try to be consistent, but then I lose motivation since it is not 100% what I want to do. I think, so I get myself caught in situations like that a lot, where I'm like, these are the videos I want to make, they're so hard, they're so time consuming, I feel exhausted, burnt out if I try doing them. But then these videos are simpler and people like them or whatever. They're getting views, whatever, but I don't feel good about them. What should I do? Well, instead of getting caught between both extremes, you're gonna get the classic thing I talk about all the time, is you yourself, the creator, need to break out of this mindset where it's this or this. This does really well, this does really well, these are my only two options. No, those are not your only two options. There is a middle option. It's just going to take a lot of work, intentionality, and creativity for you to figure that out, for you to design that for yourself. If you look at YouTube, and not just with the normal channels you're probably used to, you'll realize that there's so many different formats that can succeed and thrive on this platform. Some of them are these super well-produced documentary, Matt D'Avella type videos. Some are a guy talking to a camera and basically nothing else for 30, 40 minutes. Some are uploading one time a month and it gets millions of views. Some people are uploading 3 times a day and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views on every single video. Some people, you get the point. Basically, there's actually a lot of different formats for you to express yourself, fit what's good for you. Fit what's good for your audience. You just need to get creative with going, okay, I want, for instance, with my videos, there was a time when I was like, I want to do breakdown videos where I'm analyzing people's communication style in a way that they've never seen before. And I remember I was analyzing Gary Vee's videos and literally pulling out the transcripts and throwing his videos into a word counter and seeing how fast he talked and seeing how, what types of words, all these different, I was doing all this stuff. And it was super, super cool, super awesome. But it was not sustainable for me to do that. I cannot be doing that if I want to make videos every single week. And I was like, but this is my best way of showing how I am different, my analysis, my whatever. But over time, with practice, I've started realizing, actually, what I'm excited about is sharing perspective. Actually, what I'm excited about is analyzing things, being really thoughtful about things. Actually, what I like is figuring out your best fit. Actually, what I like I started pulling out the ingredients from that super in-depth, complicated video and seeing how I could take those same ingredients and bring it into a different format. So that took a lot of creativity. That took a lot of trying. Suddenly I'm realizing, wait, I actually like teaching. Wait, actually, my approach to figuring out your YouTube niche, people are resonating with it. I thought this was just a topic of the week, but suddenly, wait, actually this is really fun. Actually, this is really, whatever. What I mean is, there's a it's the content smoothie thing, which is basically there's a lot of different smoothies that can work, blending a whole bunch of different ingredients, and it probably can actually fit with your schedule constraints. You could probably find a format that does work with your schedule, is not an unbearably hard amount of time to make, but that still involves all the things that you really like, that really get you excited. But you're gonna need to get creative with finding that for yourself, building that remix, making that mashup, designing that mashup for yourself. What's the best way to learn storytelling? I struggle with that sometimes. I wish there was an outline to use. I'm working with another YouTuber and doing his film filming and editing. It's really it's really awesome, but I've got to find time for my own channel. Maybe a little behind the scenes stuff from Randy's channel. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to learn storytelling. I think my best advice would be to, when you're telling a story, think a lot about what your main point actually is, right? So you can tell all the details of the story, but if you don't know where it's trying to land, what the surprise is, what the what's helpful from that story for the other person, what are you trying to get them to realize or change or discover? If you know your point really, really well, it's a lot easier to tell your story. And then the second part is paying a lot of attention to other people's reactions, what resonates with them. That's where the practicing comes into play. And I think actually telling stories to more people in person, or making videos every single week, it's actually really, really good practice. You'll figure out how to have a beginning, middle, end to your stories a little better, how to hook people a little better, how to bring more emotion and surprise and whatever into your storytelling. I would practice a lot with other people, telling stories, leaning into that type of connection, and then also just think a little bit more about like what your point is. Usually the channels that bring up storytelling problems are with their vlogs. And so it's like with your vlog, instead of just showing all the random things that you're doing that day, what is maybe like the theme, or like where are things going? Why are things interesting? Why are things meaningful in this collection of groups of clips that you're sharing with us? What's the actual point? When I think about what's the point, like in one sentence, what's the point? One sentence. That really, really helps me figure that out. Clark, awesome to see you. Good to see you live, my friend. Wow, I was gonna get to the overthinking thing, the feeling lazy, procrastinating thing, but these are such great questions. I've got to find time for my own channel, maybe a little behind the scenes stuff from Randy's channel. I also feel discouraged a lot when I watch other very successful channels that give out tips and they mention your audio needs to be really good. You need to pick a niche, do X if you want to grow. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not bad advice. It's just really sometimes not what small YouTubers need to hear at first. It's like, yeah, there's like a lot of depth and nuance that gets missed when you say that advice too much to the wrong people at the wrong time. It's all correct advice. It's just sometimes landing in the wrong way, in my opinion. There's also comes a point where your audience watches not because of what you say or how you say it, but who you are. Yes! Yes! That's what oh my gosh. That is what's so awesome about YouTube, is seeing that firsthand. The more I've watched YouTube, it's like, and watch my behavior, what I'm actually gravitating towards, it's not videos with value that's obvious. It's not videos with value that's like, oh, here's the ways to pick your camera correctly. Here's the ways to be more productive in life. No. The videos I always find myself binging and getting most excited about and, doing all this stuff for, they're the people where I'm connecting to them. I like how their videos make me feel. I like hanging out with them. and they are giving me that consistent feeling in all their videos every single week. And so that's what I love about them. I'm so sorry I keep touching my nose, but there's something about these lights or I don't know what it is, but I have this problem a lot when I'm filming as well, where I think it's like something to do with how my body, like I don't really sweat, but my nose gets really itchy. I don't know how that works. But yeah, if I'm touching my nose a lot, it's not. I, I don't know how to not do that. Don't touch your face. Hashtag COVID. Yeah. I don't like the 100 vid advice. Again, it just depends on who it's for. I think it's actually fantastic advice, but it's for the people who are overthinking quality versus quantity. They're overthinking a very specific set of things. For them, the best advice is to say, hey, put out 100 videos. Stop overthinking it. Just do it. But in terms of how to grow, like if you've already made a lot of videos, that's where you have to think really strategically about what your personality is. Who actually are you? What are you bringing to the table? And how can you package that into something that makes sense, is going to get in front of other people, is going to stand out when they see it, and is going to connect with them in an extremely personal way when they run into your videos. Could I send you a link sometime to a channel and you could watch a video and give a little feedback? Maybe. Send it over into my Instagram DMs, and I will try to get to it if I can. All right, so I think this is a great time. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate hanging out with you guys. Let's cut very briefly to this very simple idea, very simple message that was from a scrapped video, but I think it can really help regardless. Let me know if I run into any difficulties with technical stuff. So what is this for? What is this what's the title of this video even mean? Well, I've noticed as a creator, it's really easy to get into these sort of negative wormhole, feeling bad about yourself loops. Sometimes it's self-criticism, sometimes it's procrastination, sometimes it's perfectionism, whatever it is. There's a lot of overthinking that it's really easy to slip into the equation. And with YouTube, something that is self-motivated, self-disciplined, where the rule book is not really set, it's hard to know when you're doing the right thing. It's hard to know how you should feel about yourself. And so oftentimes we get caught in these loops where we're like, am I doing enough? Like, am I working too hard? Am I working not enough? Is this good? Is this bad? These things can drive us crazy a lot. This past week, I was busy doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I was moving and had a lot of work and whatever. But when I was thinking about, for a second, when I had my old mindset, where I was like, I started asking myself questions like, I missed my upload. Is that justified? Did that make sense? Should I feel bad about what happened? Should I, like, I was busy. I was tired. I was, all these different things. Did it make sense for me to not upload a video? Should I feel bad about that? Am I lazy? Am I working too hard? What's going on? Is this actually my passion? I didn't actually worry about that, but maybe a couple years ago I would have. Why do I always feel behind? It's easy to, when you're looking for justification, for reasoning, for what you did that you're feeling bad about, it's really easy to get caught into these types of questions. Let's make this a little bit more practical for a second. So, like, for instance, if you have said that you want to start a YouTube channel, but you haven't yet, or let's say you started your YouTube channel, but let's say you started your YouTube channel, but a couple weeks in, you got tired, you gave up, you whatever. It's so easy to start getting into these things where you're always feeling like you're falling behind. You haven't started, you're procrastinating, you're feeling guilty, you're overthinking, all these sorts of things. And at least for me, when I run into those things, I keep trying to measure myself. I keep trying, at a job, at a normal job, your boss can say, no, you're fine. Or like, you've been here for 5 hours. You've been here for 10 hours. Like, chill out, bro. But with YouTube, you don't really get that type of feedback. You don't really get someone else. There's no outside metric for you to define whether what you did was good or bad. Should I be uploading more? Should I be uploading less? Is it good for me to sleep? Should I be pulling all-nighters to make more videos? I missed one upload. I missed 2 uploads. Is that good? Is that bad? It's really hard. It's really hard for us to sort those things out. And usually it's because we're looking at things from this perspective of trying to justify what we did. Basically saying, I'm feeling a little bit weird about what happened, and I can't figure out whether that's fine, good, bad, what's going on. Okay, so this is the loop. This is the sort of mental headspace that can get us in a lot of trouble, get us procrastinating, overthinking even more. But what I've found extremely helpful when we're trying to discern whether we're good or bad, lazy, not lazy, whatever, is to instead ask ourselves this sequence of questions. All right. This past week, what were my priorities? What actually were my priorities? So, for instance, this past 2 weeks, when I did not upload, when I did not, whatever, it's easy for me to go, oh, that was just because I was busy. I was busy moving. I was working a lot. When you go into excuse mode, it's easy to hand over excuses to justify what you did. And while that feels good in the short term, it feels horrible in the long term, because you also secretly know, wait a second, there were times when I could have stayed up an extra hour to edit. I could have, I did watch YouTube for 3 hours. I should have been editing there. You just like you can pick out a whole bunch of excuses why what you did was justified, you're also smart. You're also gonna not buy your own BS. You're also gonna go, wait a second, I was watching Netflix. I was hanging out with my friends. I was not doing the thing I was supposed to do. So instead, when I run into these situations where I'm trying to judge myself, am I good? Am I bad? I instead like to ask myself, okay, what were my priorities last week, yesterday, the month before, whatever? No, seriously, what were they? And when I can embrace, in a pretty brutally honest way, what my priorities actually were, it's a lot easier for me to move forward in those situations. So, for instance, with the move this past week, I was like, man, I feel horrible about not uploading. I feel, should I have been uploading? I feel tired. I was tired. I was this, but I also had time, blah, blah, blah. That loop, horrible. But when I asked myself, just going, hey, what were my actual priorities this past week? The truth is, I just had to admit to myself, honestly, this past week, my priorities were moving, sleeping, hanging out with my family, working. My priorities were those things above my YouTube video, and that's what happened. That's why those things got done, and my YouTube video did not get done. They were not as high a priority. My YouTube video was not as high a priority as I'd like to admit, and that is why that happened. Again, you have to be sort of brutally honest. Like, that's not fun for me to admit. Actually, my YouTube video wasn't my top priority. Actually, I prioritized watching YouTube and Netflix and sleeping and moving and working instead of my YouTube video. That's not fun to admit, but that's sort of true. That's why that happened. And then lastly, the thing you ask yourself is, okay, that's what happened. Do I want to change anything moving forward? Am I okay with what happened? So, for instance, this past week, I prioritized moving. I prioritized my videography, jobs, work. I prioritized hanging out with my family. I prioritized sleeping. I prioritized Netflix over my YouTube video. Is there anything I want to tweak moving forward? Yes. I'm not moving anymore. I'm not feeling the stress of these things. I'm not in, I got my rest. Now, moving forward, I want to tweak things so that my YouTube channel is again slipping to the priority I want it to be. And these other things are slipping down to their proper place. What happens when you look at things this way is you stop judging yourself. You stop overthinking. You stop trying to measure yourself. And instead, you just don't make any excuses, and you just go, look, those were my priorities. This is what happened. And this is what I want to change moving forward. It's that simple. I made a video a long time ago about I wasted my entire day. And the premise of the video is sometimes you feel extremely lazy because you did nothing and you feel horrible about yourself. But instead of feeling horrible about yourself, just pause and say to yourself, I did not like who I was today. Or something like that. It was something like, I did not like the person I was today. You can be honest with yourself. You're not denying it. But what happens when you say things like that to yourself is you give yourself the power to tweak things, to change things moving forward. You're not saying, I must be a lazy piece of crap and I'm doomed to do this over and over again. No, you're not doing that. You're just saying, today I did not do the thing I wanted to do. Today my priorities were not in line with what I actually wanted my priorities to be. Tomorrow is a new day. I get to change that. I get to tweak that. I'm not going to waste extra time judging myself, punishing myself for, what was going on. Some of you guys, your priorities, some of you, it's totally fine if your YouTube channel is not your top priority. And I think you would be a lot happier if you just admitted that to yourself. Like some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about myself. I've been prioritizing, this isn't what you actually say, but if you just look at what you're doing, it's like, I'm so busy, taking care of my family, so I haven't been able to do my YouTube video. It's like, dude, your family is a pretty reasonable priority. Your kids are a pretty reasonable priority. Or sometimes you guys have other hobbies that aren't your YouTube channel, and you guys are spending a lot of time feeling bad about yourself that you're not uploading more, but you're not appreciating where you are putting your priorities and that those things are actually fine. So for instance, some of you guys like skating or magic or video games or socializing with your friends or watching movies, whatever. Some of you guys love these hobbies and you're obsessed with them, playing on the piano, free skates, whatever. those hobbies are awesome. Those hobbies are so cool. It's so cool that you're dedicating all this time to those things. Um, I I don't know. I feel like that should be appreciated more instead of worrying so much about what's going on with your YouTube channel. Like if your YouTube channel is your sometimes we act like our YouTube channel is like our number 3 priority when it's actually our number like our 15th priority. And it's when we have that gap, that dissonance, that we start driving ourselves crazy. Because we're like, I thought it was this, but it's actually this. I thought it was this, but I keep doing this. If you just were honest with yourself about what your priorities actually are. Oh, I always prioritize sleeping more than my YouTube channel. That doesn't need to be a bad thing. Just be honest with yourself that that's a thing that's happening. I always prioritize my kids, spending time with them more than my YouTube channel. That's totally fine. Cool. That's awesome. I think you should do what makes you happy, man. Like, just be honest with yourself about what your priority actually is. When you approach things like this, you're stuck overthinking. You're judging yourself. You're feeling bad about yourself. But when you do things like this, you take the judgment out of the equation. You're still judging yourself, like you're still making a judgment about yourself, saying, okay, these were my priorities. This is what actually happened. But you're not doing it in a way that paralyzes you. And that's something that I feel extremely strongly about. What was behind this block? Let's see. Yes, excuses are wormholes. I wrote this last night. Excuses are wormholes. I'm a big believer. Part of you are the change maker of your own life is this idea of not making any excuses. You take accountability yourself for what's going on. If you want things to be different, you make them different yourself. If something's happening that you don't like, how can you make that, how can you take responsibility for that? And then start rewriting the story. Excuses always feel good in the short term, but long term they always make you feel negative, stuck, not the strongest version of yourself. Because you know your own BS. You can't trick yourself. You can trick other people, but you can't trick yourself. Infinite reasons. I talk about this a lot. The reason these loops happen is because you can always find reasons why you're amazing, and you can always find reasons why you're horrible. You're not going to win if you're trying to analyze both sides and say, oh, which side has more? Am I actually good this week? Am I actually bad? No. Don't try to judge yourself like that. Don't try to measure yourself up like that, because you're always going to find infinite reasons why you're good or horrible. You can find justification for basically anything. Priorities are priorities. This is basically the idea, which is part of this, you can't BS yourself. The truth is, if it's really your priority, you're going to make it happen. If it's really your top priority, you're going to make it happen. You will do whatever it takes to make that happen. Oh, I didn't feel like it. Oh, I forgot. Oh, if it was actually your top priority, you wouldn't have forgotten. If it was actually your top priority, you would have sacrificed an extra hour of whatever to make that happen. But you didn't. And maybe that's totally fine. But it's instead of making excuses, oh, it was because I was moving. Oh, it was because I had a lot of work this week. I always like to take responsibility for it. Me, myself, personally. With myself, when I talk to myself, I go, no, I actually probably could have made a YouTube video this past week. I could have done that. I did have time to do that. But it wasn't my top priority this week. And maybe that's okay. It's gonna be it's gonna be a higher priority next week and the week after, etc. Or next year, or not next month, whatever. I don't need to freak out so much about if I'm on track, off track. I just need to keep checking in with myself, that I'm being honest with myself, that I actually know what's going on. Cause and effect. These things are exactly related. So, you get out what you put in. This is why no excuses. Like, just own up to what's happening. If you do this, this is what happened. If you didn't do this, this is what happened. You don't need to make everything. I think I said when I filmed this video a while ago, it doesn't need to get to the character judgment level. Like, you don't need to be judging your character traits, your values so much on, like, when you run into these problems. It doesn't need to get to that level. It doesn't need to get that intense. Just keep things at the, okay, something happened. Something happened this past week. What were my priorities? No, seriously, why? What were my priorities? Which is basically asking yourself, why did that happen? And can I figure out a reason why in a way that's not judging myself into overthinking? And then, next, do I want to tweak anything moving forward? Cool, I'll try that tomorrow. Yeah, so that is some of my thoughts from this past week. Is it's a way of reframing things so you don't cripple yourself as much. I feel bad when I see all these creators talking about, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. Oh my gosh, I'm procrastinating so much. Oh my gosh, I haven't uploaded in however long. Oh my gosh, I can't find the motivation. That's not a fun way of thinking about yourself. It's really hard to create, to not overthink things if you're thinking like that. The way that you move forward with confidence, with clarity, you really sort through your stuff, is when you're just saying, last month, last 6 months, last 8 months, I've been prioritizing a whole bunch of other stuff. My family, video games, sleeping, some of my avoidant behavior, I didn't want to think about my insecurities, and whenever I make YouTube videos, it reminds me of like, oh shoot, I really need to face this stuff. That's why I haven't been prioritizing it the past 6 months. Tomorrow, next week, next month, moving forward, do I want to tweak anything about that? I am ready to give it another shot. I am ready to try to move forward with this, even though I'm anxious, even though I'm a perfectionist, even though I'm scared about it. Let me go back to the comments. I appreciate you listening. I hope that was clear. I tried making that a video a while ago, and it was turning into a mess. But I hope that I was able to share that idea, regardless, in a different context, and I hope that was helpful to 1, 2, 3 of you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys being open to these conversations, some of these tough topics to unpack. Definitely not your traditional how to grow on YouTube advice. I really thought no one would be interested in hearing this stuff. So the fact that you guys are, it blows my mind. It really blows my mind. I really appreciate it. And I hope it can help you guys. Let me read through a couple of the the comments. Yes, I took all of last weekend to do absolutely nothing. Been grinding, testing for months, and it was nice to do nothing. See, that's a yeah. Resting is okay. Resting is good sometimes. Absolutely, my inner slacker is so crucial because it allows me to recoup. My crazy motivated part hates the slacker, but the slacker is what allows her to have energy to get things done. Yeah, everyone should find their best fit of pushing themselves, challenging themselves, you know, dreaming big, working really hard, but also like resting, taking time to introspect, think about what's actually going on. That stuff's super important as well. If you are trying to become consistent on YouTube, what I've done that's really helped is implement a 1 week rule. Meaning, if I miss an upload 1 week and nothing more, I don't punish myself for it. That's a good point. I like that. I think, like, you know when you're BSing yourself. So, like, that in itself gives me, at least, the conviction I need sometimes to just go, okay, last week I was tired. Last week I was busy. But you know what? Like, I really do love that thing. I really do love making that thing. I can't really BS myself any longer. I need to just make a video. It's okay if it's not the best thing in the entire world. But, you know, it's been this long since I did what I keep saying I'm going to do this, but I haven't been doing it. I need to quit BSing myself and just do it. And so I feel, at least for me, I know when it feels wrong or I'm lying to myself too much. And so I think we all know what our boundaries are. Maybe that's 3 weeks, maybe that's a month, maybe that's whatever. For me, with the stuff that I'm trying to build and work on, it doesn't make sense for me to randomly miss more than a week. I can always get something out. Been listening as I drive. Love the topic. I'm so glad. We appreciate you. Thanks for tackling deeper insights here. Thank you so much, Monique. I really appreciate you. Everything is stuff I needed to hear. Looking forward to implementing all this hard advice. Thanks as always. Thank you for being here, man. I feel so bad that I'm late on my upload as my audience might be waiting, but I'm guilty of watching Chinese dramas for a whole night. We all have our guilty pleasures, or like other things that we prioritize that might not be in line with our goals. And honestly, I think sometimes that's okay. It's just up to what we want to choose for ourselves. If you're saying you want to get to 1 million subscribers someday, 100,000 subscribers someday, and make all this impact, and then if you give yourself like a little self-audit, and you're like, shoot, I spent 90% of my week doing nothing related to my YouTube channel, you might want to fix things. But if you're like, I want to learn more about myself in general, and I want, I just want to learn more about who I am and express myself in a different way, if you take a couple weeks off, like, that's still a great fit for you. Mandy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I didn't know that super chats were a thing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it. What are your thoughts on not feeling excited once I hit upload? I kind of expect that I'd be excited to be sharing my content once I hit upload, but it doesn't happen. Does it not happen consistently, Rick? Or is it every once in a while? Smash that thumbs up if you are enjoying this topic. Yes. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like button if you haven't yet already. What if you don't feel as these are some juicy topics. So true, but I don't know my boundary as I was trying to make a podcast on boundaries. So first, Rick, The first things that come to mind when I think about feeling excited once you hit upload. I think you have to think about what excites you in general. Does helping other people excite you? Does expressing yourself excite you? Does analyzing things excite you? Does creating something that never existed before excite you? Trying to tap into what actually gets you going is really, really important. For me, I don't know if this is a just for me thing. I think it's actually a everyone thing, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'd say mostly I don't feel that euphoric feeling like, yeah, I uploaded, I can't wait for people to watch it and share what they think, etc. Oh, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I don't feel that with every upload as well. But I usually do feel some sort of gratification from the videos as well. It's not really euphoric that other people are going to see it, that it's going to get a lot of views and attention. After a while of uploading, you don't really care about that stuff as much. What you care about is the impact. So you go, hey, if this could help 1, 2, 3 people this week, that's super awesome. Even if it was my brother, my coworker, my whatever, if I'm able to help someone this week with something that I made, wow, that was worth it. That was super cool. That's something that motivates me. The second thing that motivates me is, wow, that was super hard, but I learned more about myself. I learned more about how to make videos even when it's hard. I learned how to talk better to the camera even when I'm tired. I learned how to take something super confusing and convoluted and make it make more sense. It was sort of a base hit this time, but this is the practice it's going to take for me to hit some home runs a couple years from now. When I think about the impact on a couple other people, when I think about the impact on myself, that really helps me feel satisfied and excited after I upload. Even though, like, I don't care about the views. I'm not getting the euphoria feeling from the views, the attention, the subscribers part. It's much more gratifying from the how did this impact me? Did I make something I actually liked this week? Is this able to help someone this week? And then the part that's much harder, that takes some more time, which is something I talk about a lot on my YouTube channel, is this idea of like long-term purpose and trajectory. If you know what you're building and what you're building towards, things get a lot more fun. Like way more fun. Like you can have like 10 failed videos in a row that don't get views, that don't get attention, but when you're like, I just want that big thing to exist. I want to make that happen. I don't quite know how that's going to happen, but I need to build that big thing. I need to help in that big way, because this is going to be an impact that I find really meaningful. Then it really doesn't matter, like, what the video was. If it was a good video, a bad video, if it gets views, if it doesn't get views. I find myself feeling incredibly excited and happy about the video. If I'm able to focus my attention on those 3 things: impact on other people, impact on myself, and building something bigger than myself. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hang out for another minute or so. If you guys have any extra questions, I'm happy to stay a bit longer, but if not, it's been a huge pleasure hanging out with you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you. Yeah, I can definitely see my progress over time. It makes me feel good in general. I do have a vague idea of that big thing, and when I think about that, I do get excited. Yes, exactly. Purpose is everything. Purpose seriously changes everything, and it's so frustrating because purpose sounds like this hippie find yourself thing. Find your purpose. Like, okay, what does that even mean? But no, seriously, like, if you know what, I guess I've been trying to change how I say it because it sounds way cooler. It sounds more exciting. It sounds more like you have superpowers. If you figure out who exactly you are, who you actually are, what you're bringing to the table, and how you can use that to help other people unlock meaningful impact in this world. If you actually know what those things are, aka purpose, clarity, that changes everything. That changes the game. It makes it so that you can sustain and push forward even when things get super, super hard and impossible. Yeah. Yay, great live. I gotta be realistic with myself about my priorities, harder than it sounds. Your free skating stuff seems so awesome. I'm very inspired by it, Clark. I think it's so cool, the stuff that you're doing. And also you're doing some really incredible videography, photography stuff as well right now. That, again, not just saying that. I'm very inspired by it from, hundreds of miles away. I appreciate the things you do. Totally agree with the impact. I've taught a lot of in-person workshops, conferences. Sometimes only 5 to 10 people are in the audience, but they really want to be there, and we have great conversations after. Yes. I think there's a lot of overthinkers on this YouTube channel that watch this YouTube channel. It's really important for us to get outside of ourselves. Get ourselves thinking about other people. Get ourselves out of our paralyzing mental loops to build something meaningful, to get some great work done. I'm going to head out. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you. This month, if I'm being honest, this month is stretching me a little bit. There's a lot of plates juggling. The move is very much still in place. There's a lot of things grabbing my attention. Lots of videos are still on their way. This month in particular, though, might be a little bit messy, a little bit limping around, but it's very much not because I'm not excited about my YouTube channel. It's very much the opposite. I'm trying to put some stuff in place so I can hit go on the gas pedal a little bit more, and taking some. It's a little messy. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best. Yeah. If there's any way I can help, send me a message. Would love to help however I can. All right. You are the change maker of your own life. Let's think more deeply. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace. Bye.